Hello, and welcome to a short reading from the book Deliver Us from Evil, which is also a major motion picture starring Eric Bana. It's one of my favorite films. It's I wouldn't say it's a horror film, but it's supernatural and it has some shocking scenes in it, so it is a bit scary. And this book is a true story based on his life experiences as a New York City cop, how he investigates the supernatural, by Ralph Sarchie and Lisa Collier Cool. So I'm just going to read a little bit from the blurb. The terrifying true story of demonic possession and exorcism in a city under diabolical siege. A 16-year NYPD veteran, Ralph Sarchie works out of the 46th Precinct in New York's South Bronx. But it is his other job that he calls the work, investigating cases of demonic possession and assisting in the exorcisms of humanity's most ancient and most dangerous foes. Now, he discloses his investigations into incredible true crimes and inhuman evil that were never explained, solved, or understood except by Sarchie and his partner. Schooled in the rituals of exorcism and an eyewitness to the reality of demonic possession, Ralph Sarchie has documented a riveting chronicle of the inexplicable that gives a new shape to the shadows in the dark. In Deliver Us from Evil, he takes readers into the very hierarchy of a hell on earth to expose the grisly rituals of a Palo-Mayop priest, a young girl whose innocence is violated by an incubus, a home invaded by the malevolent spirit of a supposedly murdered 19th century bride, the dark side of a couple who were, literally, the neighbors from hell, and more. Ralph Sarchie's revelations are a powerful and disturbing documented link between the true crime realities of life and the blood-chilling ice grip of a supernatural terror. I'm now going to read the foreword that was written by Bishop Robert F. McKenna, and he writes, "No one can claim to be a Christian, much less Catholic, who doubts or denies the devil. Christ came to redeem mankind from the dominions of Satan and his apostate legions of fallen angels." And he quotes John 12:31-32. "Now is the judgment of the world. Now shall the prince of this world be cast out. And I, if I be lifted up from the earth," in brackets, on the cross, close brackets, "will draw all things to myself." John 12:31-32. The instances recounted in the Gospel of Jesus casting out devils from possessed persons demonstrate the reality of these unseen spirits. In the words of the Church's traditional prayer to Saint Michael the Archangel, they wander the world seeking the ruin of souls. Today, more than ever, along with the ever-expanding abyss of immortality engulfing the world, is a deluge of preternatural demonic infestation. The devil's hand in immortality is on the ordinary level. Satan is the standard bearer of sinners, but the demonic infestation involves his invasion of mind and body. When I was ordained some 40 years ago, diabolical obsession and possession of people was almost unheard of, something the average priest, even though ordained an exorcist, would hardly encounter in his lifetime, something confined to the theology textbooks. But today, for those who have eyes to see, it is almost commonplace. Exorcism exposes the devil behind the veil of all too many, if not most, psychiatric cases. He talks to you, he defies you, he threatens you. He torments his victim in front of you and can test every fibre of those restraining him. Not in every case. In some he plays deaf and dumb, but in enough to show the pattern. Whence this deluge? It stems from the spread, nay, the plague of the occult. In 9 out of 10 cases, the victim of demonic oppression has had connection, directly or indirectly, with witchcraft, open or disguised. This connection ranges from the possession of superstitious artifacts, such as Ouija boards, to harmless charms and outright satanic rituals. In between the two extremes are charismatic and New Age movements. Satanism itself has been accepted as a religion, and there is even a Bible of Satan. Those who seek knowledge and power outside the order instituted by God seek it from his enemy and stand for their correction to be handed over to his power and suffer the consequences. Ralph Sarchie, author of this book, is well qualified to write on the demonic. For years he has been investigating cases of it, and he, with others, has stood by me in exorcisms. Without assistance to restrain those who may become violent, it is perilous, as I have indicated, to exorcise anyone who is possessed. No subject, I dare say, could be of more practical, if not urgent, interest. May this book serve the humanitarian purpose for which it has been undertaken. So that was the foreword by Bishop Robert F. McKenna, O.P. I'm now going to read the preface by Ralph Sarchie. I never set out to write a book about the supernatural. I am a New York City police sergeant, and cops write about police work, not demons, ghosts, and exorcism. But I live in two worlds, one of cop life, down and dirty in the streets, with very real blood and guts, and one plagued by a different sort of crime, perpetuated by forces that are evil beyond imagination. These worlds seem very far apart for most. People ask me, how can you see all that gritty reality as a cop for 16 years and then believe in the spirit world? But I have found that most cops do believe in spirits. And most important of all, the vast majority believe in God and are religious people. That makes me happy because what cops see every day can have a corrosive effect on spirituality. I have experienced that effect firsthand. It is because of my profession that I can distinguish between the two worlds and know that the preternatural and supernatural exist. To live in the world of crime and justice helps me to deal with the reality of pure evil when it strikes real people with real terror. As Joe Forrester, my partner in spiritual investigations, so eloquently says, two different types of evil exist: primary evil, which comes from the devil, and secondary evil, which is the evil that people do. Although all evil stems from the devil, I'm not always quick to blame the devil for the nasty deeds that one human being can inflict on another. I know the difference between human and inhuman evil when I see it. I had no idea what I was letting myself in for when, a decade ago, I started in the work, investigating haunted houses and cases of demonic possession. Like police work, it takes its toll on you, but I have no regrets. Due to the work, my faith has grown, and my love for Jesus Christ is just as real as the love I have for my wife and children. When you read this book, keep one thing in mind. The book is not about some cop or the devil. It is about God. When you read about a situation that seems hopeless for the people involved, always remember that with God, all things are possible. Although some of the people I write about continue to experience their troubles, one thing has changed for them. God has now entered their lives, and He makes it bearable for them to live with their spiritual problems. He then talks about how he has always handled his investigations in an honest, straightforward, and professional manner. Everything in his book, taken from my cases, is exactly as it was told to me by eyewitnesses or from what I observed personally. These events are documented in my notes and in the video and audio tapes I've made of my investigations. My experiences are not embellished in any way. I have changed some names and certain identifying details to protect the privacy of families or individuals who sought my help. And near the end of the preface, he then says, I would like to leave you, the reader, with one thing. You can tell me that you don't believe a damn word that I say about my cases and the demonic. If you're skeptical, that's okay. But if just one person tells me that he believes in God after reading these stories, I will walk away from this project smiling. I know if you are that person, you've won half the battle.